common dishes in Mexico and specifically in Chihuahua. My first few weeks, I didn't recognize any of the food. Mexican food here is nothing like Mexican food in actual Mexico, but I definitely grew to love it. My first couple weeks, I think that a lot of it was just like beans and rice, and in Chihuahua, they're really into giving you like a meat, like as a main dish. So they'll give you beans and rice on the side, and then you'll have like some kind of either stewed meat, so it's been slow cooked and it's got a little bit of a broth on it, or it's just like grilled meat, or like, maybe some grilled chicken, grilled pork, something like that. They also are, obviously burritos and tacos are a thing still, but they're different. So it's definitely like corn tortillas that have meat in them for the tacos. And there might be rice in it, or there might not even be meat or rice. Sometimes we actually had potato tacos a few times, or potato burritos a few times. People kind of throw together what they can with what they have oftentimes, because there is kind of a high poverty rate in a lot of the areas that I served in. So it was beans and rice are the cheapest thing that you can get. So that's a lot of what you eat, which it just is also very like filling staple food. I think my favorite dish in Chihuahua was called chile colorado, which just means red chili, or like colored chili, but more specifically red chili. And it comes specifically from like this red chili that they get. I don't know exactly which chili it was. There's probably a few different spices that they use in it. And what I mean by chili is not like the American term of chili, like a pot of beans and things like that, like chili dogs and stuff like that. It's not the same at all. The chili is actually like a chile, like a spicy pepper. So they'll have like this really hot red pepper, which was like utterly delicious, honestly. Like it wasn't just spicy to like burn, but it was like, it had a lot of flavor, and there was like a lot of deep flavor in the things that they cooked down there. And this particular dish was just like slow cooked either pork or beef with like this deep red chili and other spices, and like garlic, onion, things like that. And they'll pour it over this really good like Mexican rice that they make with just like chicken broth and like different spices. So it was like so good. And a lot of the times what you do is you don't even really use utensils very often. So sometimes they'll put just like a basket of tortillas on the table, and you'll use the tortilla to eat with it. So people will often either use a fork with their right hand and a rolled up tortilla on the left, and they'll push food onto their fork with their tortilla and then bite the tortilla. Or they will just rip up pieces of tortilla and use those pieces to pick up food and pop the whole thing in their mouth. So it's a very interesting way of eating, and I really got used to it. And when I came home, it was hard to transition from like always having something in one hand, or eating with my hands constantly, or eating with a tortilla or something to help me. But that's definitely like one of my favorite foods there. The tacos of all different flavors are just amazing. There's carne asada tacos, there's tacos al pastor, which is just like a different kind of meat, and it's always served with like pineapple and cilantro and stuff like that, and onion and stuff. So the flavors are incredible. A lot of spice. Had a lot of people cook for us, because as missionaries you eat with members and you eat at different houses all the time. Had a lot of people cook for us with some pretty heavy spices, and it was very spicy, and we had to just drink liters of water to wash it down and make sure that we weren't like physically like crying. But it was worth it. It was very good. Like all the food there was delicious. Sometimes they'll send you with a fruit for the road too, like a guava that you could just eat right there, or like a papaya or a banana, So that was very sweet. And we were told on our mission once that if somebody offers you food after you've taught them a lesson, it's because they felt the spirit. So maybe that's a culture thing in Mexico or Latin America, I'm not sure, but they're very giving, and if they want to feed you, you should probably take it, because you don't want to offend people, especially the sisters in the church that cook for you. A lot of times they spend all day in the kitchen in the morning until the afternoon that you get there, and we get there at about 2 p.m., so that's when the food is every day. That's kind of their big meal. That's almost basically dinner for them. They'll have a little bit of like a supper later, but the main food is at about 2 or 3 p.m. So yeah, it's kind of a cultural faux pas to not accept the food, but to also not like compliment the food, and to make sure that you're letting the person that cooked for you know that you appreciate it. Food is a big part of the culture. It's a big connector for the people down there. So when you go to a dinner, when you eat with people, they expect a certain level of manners, a certain level of, communication, connection, and that's just how they connect with one another. So there's a lot of soda consumption, and Coke is like a big thing down there. There's also like pineapple soda flavored with tamarind, which is like a very interesting, like kind of bitter but also like sour root, and it's delicious. Honestly, it's really good. There's also a lot of like apple soda, which wasn't my favorite, but it's there all the time, everywhere. After a while, our mission president, and I don't know if it's still that way in the mission, basically made soda prohibited. So we were not allowed to drink soda anymore because it was kind of getting a little out of hand because, members drink it with every meal almost. And, the missionaries started drinking it at home as well. And, it's really dehydrating to just drink soda for every meal throughout the day as well. So since we're serving in a high desert, our president oftentimes would have us just drink water or have the members only provide us with water or provide us with like different juices, which they also call water, but it's still juice. Like lemonade, they would still call like lemon water, or like pineapple water if it was pineapple juice. So that's just a thing of northern Mexico. I think they call all of their juices like a water of a certain flavor. So we had a lot of juices, a lot of waters after that. We weren't allowed to drink soda anymore, which was, I think, the best decision, the best call, speaking for dehydration and speaking for, what we're doing all day outside. There's very interesting foods like menudo, which is like intestines, like cow intestines, and there's also like cow stomach, and there's also like tongue and things like that. Tongue isn't bad. You can't really even taste it. It just tastes like another kind of meat. It's actually very good. They'll probably usually put it in tacos, and I don't think anybody even told us until after we ate it, so we didn't know anyway. I never actually tried menudo, but that's a very big thing in Chihuahua. And, it's either hit or miss. I think you either love it or you hate it. So, never got to try it. I'm not super concerned with trying it ever in my life because I've heard some interesting things about it, but definitely one of the crazier things that they eat down there. We went to the corner store probably too often. There's a lot of like sweetbreads, like pan dulce, and there's a lot of like bakeries in different places. So there's like corner bakeries or corner stores that are basically like mini 7-Elevens, and you can get like chips, like even just like American chips too, or like you can get these really good like sweet snacks, or you can get like spicy snacks. They have like spicy nuts and stuff like that, like spicy chips of like all flavors. There's tons of snacks down there. Our president actually had to limit our snack consumption as well, just to keep us on the healthy side as a mission, because it's very tempting to kind of go overboard with the snacks all day. My favorite actually was probably just buying like this roll of cookies that's called chokis. So they're just chocolate chip cookies. They're like Chips Ahoy, but like better somehow. And we would like dip them in Nutella and things like that. So definitely have a sweet tooth. Definitely there's plenty of like spicy, salty, sweet, just any kind of like snacks that you could want. I mean, the sweetbreads are out of this world. They're incredible. So you got to be careful with the bakeries down there because there's a bakery like everywhere and they sell amazing things.